What if I told you that the very thoughts you rely on for guidance might actually be holding you back? Picture this: you wake up each day feeling like you're making progress, but in reality, you're stuck in a loop of self-doubt and outdated beliefs. This struggle often goes unnoticed. You might think you're open to change, yet there's a subtle force, a cognitive bias working behind the scenes, keeping you from reaching your true potential. Are you starting to wonder what's lurking just beneath the surface? Let's imagine a scenario: you're in a meeting, and someone challenges your idea. Instead of confidently defending your position, you find yourself second-guessing everything you thought you knew. You know what you want to say, but suddenly it feels like the ground is shifting beneath you. This is just nerves, it's a bias creeping and whispering that you are not good enough. But where does this come from? It originates from ingrained thought patterns you've carried since childhood. Fire so deeply embedded that you hardly notice their impact. You might think you're being rational, but what if your brain is wired to lean toward fear and doubt? Consider another example: you're about to start a new workout routine. At first, you're excited, but then that inner voice chimes in, reminding you of all the times you've failed before. You might not realize it, but that's confirmation bias at work. Instead of focusing on your potential for progress, you find yourself stuck revisiting past failures. Can you feel the tension building? It's not just about overcoming these thoughts, it's about understanding them. Ignoring these biases won't make them disappear. In fact, they can grow stronger, feeding off your fears and doubts. You might think, if I can just push through, but the truth is that you need to address the roots of these thoughts first. So what can you do? Start by recognizing that these biases are just thoughts, not facts. Challenge yourself to view situations from different angles. Each time you catch yourself slipping into negativity, pause and ask why. What if the story you're telling yourself isn't the only one? As you begin to untangle these mental knots, something shifts within you. You are no longer just reacting, you're actively engaging with your thoughts. You're learning to navigate the noise, and that's where true mental agility starts to develop. Take a moment to reflect. What thoughts have shaped your reality? What if you could rewrite that narrative? Embrace the discomfort of questioning your own beliefs. The journey to self-improvement isn't a straight line, it's a winding path filled with unexpected turns. If you're ready to take that step, it might be time to dig deeper. Challenge those biases and see how they've been holding you back. Recognize that the power to change lies within you, just waiting for you to embrace it. And remember, the most profound changes often start with the smallest shifts in thought. Are you ready to explore what's possible? Do you ever feel like your mind is just spinning? No matter how hard you try, breaking free seems impossible. Beneath the surface, there's a hidden struggle impacting your mental agility in ways you might not even realize. Many people view stress as simply feeling overwhelmed, but it's often much more subtle. It creeps in quietly, wrapped in cognitive biases that twist your thinking and hold you back from personal growth. Imagine this: you're at work, surrounded by deadlines. You want to focus, but suddenly self-doubt floods your mind. What if I mess this up? What if I'm not good enough? Sound familiar? Those thoughts aren't random, they are cognitive biases, ingrained patterns distorting your perception of reality. These biases act like invisible chains, tightening around your mental agility. They push you toward familiar behaviors. You might think you're making logical choices, but in reality, you're caught in a cycle of self-sabotage. Think back to a time when you hesitated to speak up in a meeting. Was it fear of judgment? Or maybe you felt That's the fear of missing out bias at play, convincing you to hold back your potential. Let's explore another common bias, confirmation bias. This occurs when you seek information that supports your existing beliefs while ignoring anything that contradicts them. When was the last time you challenged your own views? That moment when you chose comfort over growth? These biases can lead to decision paralysis, leaving you frozen by the fear of making the wrong choice. Imagine standing at a crossroads, unable to move while life rushes by. Every moment lost is a missed opportunity. But here's the good news: recognizing these biases is the first step to breaking free. Instead of letting them dictate your decisions, what if you started to question them? What if you chose to reframe your thoughts instead of accepting them as truth? Overcoming these biases isn't easy. It requires courage and vulnerability, and you may need to confront uncomfortable truths about your thinking. But isn't that where real growth happens? As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect on your own mental patterns. What biases might be holding you back? Acknowledge them and then challenge them. Change begins with awareness, and that awareness can spark transformation. So the next time you feel that familiar tug of self-doubt or hesitation, pause for a moment. Remember, you have the power to rewrite your story. Embrace that power and watch your mental agility flourish. Imagine waking up one day feeling trapped in your own mind like a hamster on a wheel, expending energy but getting nowhere. What if I told you that your thoughts could be your biggest prison? You might think you're in control, but there's a surprising truth lurking beneath the surface. Most of us overlook the cognitive biases that influence our decisions. These biases are the sneaky villains that undermine our mental agility. Let's dive deeper. Picture this: you're at a crossroads facing a life-changing decision. Instead of feeling empowered, you're overwhelmed by doubt, clinging to past failures like a comforting blanket. This is just one warning sign. Every time you dismiss new ideas because they conflict with your beliefs, you tighten the chains on your own growth. It's a subtle trap many fall into, believing they're being rational when they're really just clinging to familiar habits. Consider a friend who always plays it safe. They might claim it's practicality, but deep down it's fear disguised as wisdom. This illusion tempts us, favoring the familiar over the unknown. These ingrained thought patterns aren't just annoying, they actively hinder your self-improvement. Each time you choose comfort over challenge, you reinforce a cycle that's tough to break. What if you could recognize these biases? Imagine catching that moment of hesitation and flipping it around. The power of choice comes from awareness, yet many of us are too caught up in our biases to notice it. So what can you do? Start by embracing discomfort. Pay attention to those little hesitations, those moments when your inner critic screams, "Don't do it." What if that's exactly when you should take action? As you navigate life, are you ready to confront them? Your journey toward mental freedom begins with a single thought: I can change. Consider how often you let old